What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here as we gotta rap about a much needed W for the front of the Detroit Pistons, sitting on a 7-game losing streak, being on a road trip on the West Coast where they have been struggling the entire time over these past couple weeks, and finally getting to a point against a good team with the 2-time MVP, with all the talent in the world on both sides of the ball. The Pistons were able to etch out a close 110-108 game tonight. And I was impressed by a lot that I saw, especially considering the circumstances, because we know what the vibes are for the Pistons right now. Coming in a position where Isaiah Stewart's on the bench because he's hurt. Sadiq Bey being on the bench because he's hurt. Cade Cunningham still recovering from his shin injury, which I still haven't recovered from the pain of the news of. I understand. I get it. But there's still plenty to pay attention to with this team. Even with those guys out, even with Cade still at an undisclosed point where how long he'll be gone for, we don't know. Even with knowing that, there's still things to pay attention to with this team now and with the future. Just because things are murky now because of their injuries, it does not mean that it's time to punt on watching and paying attention to the Detroit Pistons, because they still got a lot of things going for them. And in moments like these for a young rebuilding team that is fighting the injury bug, you have to be able to pick apart little things within the season or within games to keep the intrigue alive. And there's plenty of that. Trust me. I promise you there is. We already know what it is with the rookies, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren, who continue to impress every game and continue to make their imprint every game. They're playing good basketball right now. Maybe not their best games tonight, but still very active in terms of what the Pistons needed. And winning games like this is only going to take their confidence and their value up that much higher. But again, there's other things that you can worry about. There's other things that you can pay attention to. Killian Hayes, who's looking like a different player over the past couple weeks. Again, we've talked about it at plethora. I don't know what he's been doing. I don't know what kind of Wheaties he's been trying out, but it's working for him. He's playing some of the best ball that we've seen him consistently play throughout his career. Now, he's known to have a bad luck nick with the injury, so I'm knocking on wood the best I can to make sure Killian gets to stay on the floor, because I hate to see him blow this kind of momentum with something unfortunate. But again, he's a big name you want to pay attention to in terms of development. He's a huge name you want to pay attention to. Marvin Bagley, who scored 14 points tonight, 7 to 8 from the field, was pretty productive in terms of what we've seen from Marvin since his coming back from the knee injury. He's taken a little bit of time of ramping up. He hasn't had the same kind of development with Cade and the other ball handlers like he had last season. So he's taken a little bit of time to get back to the form to which we saw last season. But today was a pretty good game from him, scoring 14 points. Bojan Bogdanovic led the Pistons with 22. Again, a good game from him, but he's kind of getting on my nerves with a lot of the isolation plays that he's doing. I'm okay with knowing that you're going to have to lean on your veterans more because Cade is hurt, because Sadiq is hurt, and Stu as well. But Bogey seems like he's trying to just accelerate his trade value immediately by being this trigger-happy shooter and play setter for the offense. Seeing him constantly try to run fast breaks and running ISOs to close out quarters, like, that's not his game. That's not his game, man. We want you to sit in the corner or sit on the wing, rotate properly, continue to screen away, and catch passes from Killian and Jaden Ivey for open shots. Now, if you have a mismatch, go right ahead. Take advantage. You've been, pretty hot for the most part in terms of getting your shot there, here and there. But these ISOs on some Allen Iverson type stuff, they got to stop. They got to relax. But again, that's a part of the development we're going to pay attention to, because while Bogey is still playing well at this rate right now, we don't know what it's going to mean for his future with this team. If a veteran team comes along and they think they a swing forward away from making the playoffs or really pushing for a championship, you make that deal immediately. And that's an important thing that you want to pay attention to up until the trade deadline, which comes in February. That's something to pay attention to that's bad important. Another player to pay attention to, Alec Burks, who is not getting enough attention. not getting enough attention. And I'm so hurt that Cade is not on the floor because I think a guy like Alec Burks is phenomenal for a guy like Cade. 21 points from Burks, 7 of 13 from the field, huge clutch shots in the fourth quarter, able to ice the game and make it a 2-possession game for the Nuggets. He was helping and responsible for a lot of runs that the Pistons were going on too. The first half, they had 7-0 runs and 8-0 runs. They had a 10-0 run in the second half, another 8-0 run in the second half. They were pushing forward very well, and it was thanks to the productivity of Alec Burks. And what I was saying about his effect on somebody like Cade is Burks' ability to sell contact. He flops. I was trying to be nice, but it's not like James Harden flopping. Like, he'll get into contact, but he's not just egregiously bad where it's just a blasphemous flop of what you're looking at. He's doing a good job at getting the defenders off their feet, getting them out of spots where they're forced to foul and play out of control defensively. He is very good at selling and getting that attention and getting the refs to buy into it. Cade, please take all the lessons you need, bro, because in fact, whenever you get to the point where you can sell and get calls like Alec Burks is doing right now, you're going to be on another level. But I love the impact that he's having on this team. We talked about how important he could be when coming back from that injury, and you're seeing it now. Playing next to a Killian Hayes, who's easily more comfortable shooting and scoring now, next to a guy like Burks and Jaden Ivey. He is super important in terms of floor spacing, his ability to dribble and create for others, his ability to be a veteran presence to knock down big shots when they need it most. He has been spectacular as an addition, and he's another guy that could be flipped for a pick by the deadline. He's on a 1-year deal. He didn't sign an extension like Bogey, and I don't think he's going to. He might get another year offered by, Dwayne Casey and Troy Weaver, but I'd be pretty surprised by that. I feel like one of them is going to be gone by the deadline, but we'll see what they end up doing. Kevin Knox is somebody else who deserves some credit. Somebody else you could be paying attention to a little bit. I don't know what he has in terms of his future plans with the Pistons, but a game like tonight was super needed for his psyche because he had been off to quite a slow start. 17 points, 8 of 11 from the field, a lot of big transition buckets, some good defense out there too in terms of help and spacing. He did a really good job of making his impact felt for this team. And again, he needed it in the biggest way considering the waves that he had been on. These games are important for the Detroit Pistons. You don't want them going out and just rolling on 20 and 30 game losing streaks as a young team. It messes up their psyche, it hurts their confidence tremendously, and it just creates a lot of problems and conflict. Like, you want to be able to be in a position where you're at least sure about some things. You go on a 20, 30 game losing streak, you're changing your lineup tremendously. Dwayne Casey will easily be fired, and you're basically kind of hitting reset again on your rebuild because you need pieces that you can rely on and build upon at this point. You don't want to keep going into the next season and say, oh, we got to replace all this and we got to replace all this. You want to start finding some pieces that stick. And I think they're starting to maybe look and get to that place because games like this help. They show what the potential can be for this young team. Again, it's not going to be strictly through winning. It's through the product that they put on the court. And what they're doing right now is exactly what you want to see. They didn't back down. They played all 4 quarters. And they were able to walk away with the victory, meaning they made less mistakes than the Denver Nuggets did. They maybe not as played as good, but they played with less mistakes. And sometimes that's all it takes for a team. Pistons needed this, man. I was sick seeing them, go on these losing streaks and just blowing these games. And even for me personally, I'm tired. I'm 32 years old. This West Coast swing has been brutal on my sleep schedule. And you don't want to have to sit up and watch these games and sit up and watch a loss. Then I'll at least get a victory out of it. It's worth it. And I'm happy about it. And you should be too. So talk to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. What were you thinking about the Detroit Pistons tonight? Again, a 110-108 victory. Super, super needed in my opinion. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you want them to just lose, 60 more games. Put them in that much better position for Victor Wembanyama. Talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your feedback was about the game. Make sure you like the video. And guess what, everybody? We made it to 5,000 subscribers. Let's go. I appreciate your support and making that happen. We really hit some milestones, really trying to grow our channel and grow this content and our base as well. And we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. And we continuing to roll on, hitting that 6,000 subscribers is our next milestone here for DSN. Help us if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit that notification bell to make sure you get all the updates and content right here from DSN. Make sure you tap it into our social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, search and follow Detroit Sports Nation. And search and follow me as well. Give me a tag and a follow at I am Eric Vincent so I can stay tapped in with you all season long. And I'll be right back again soon enough with another update right here for the DSN News Desk. Peace.